The first time I saw their mountains, I found them so beautiful. I saw every ridge, sway, and swing of each summit. But the chieftain of the tribe of these mountains told me that you only get to see these summits when there are no trees. But it wasn't always like this. Once upon a time, their lands were lush. But in 1991, Mount Pinatubo erupted and devastated their lands and took away their livelihood. So they had to find another way to live. So they climbed up their mountains and cut down their trees. They turned to coal to sell to the nearest biome an hour and a half away through volcanic ash. And that left their mountains bare. This is what Zambales looks like now in Yano. This is a wider shot. You see the bare mountains, you see the volcanic ash. And this is my first time there. It was in March 2019 that my life changed, when I visited Yano and decided to turn my life into saving or protecting and conserving the environment of the world around me. But that day started like any other, with a cup of coffee. My usual order is an iced latte grande with no straw in a mug. And for a lot of us, 150 pesos for a morning coffee won't break the bank. But for the chieftain of the tribe of Yano, his name is Chieftain Gabriel, 150 pesos had a different reality. 150 pesos was the cost of each sack of coal that they'd bring from their homes to the nearest biome. 150 pesos was a different reality for us and them. And then I quickly realized that when people had to focus on surviving, like they did, they couldn't focus on prospering. So the tribe lost their art and their culture because they had to focus on feeding their kids. But really, what do I have to do with any of this? I'm a 23-year-old digital artist who's mostly known for this kind of work, talking about unspoken words, unread letters, unsaid emotions. This says you left me for her, so I'm leaving her, you for me. Or ako na lang. Or sana tayo na lang ulit. This one was a hard hitter. Even though I know you'll never pick me, I still keep hoping one day you will. But most of them aren't sad. I will write about them for a lifetime. My art didn't change. I still tell these stories of people that I've never met, these strangers that I'll never meet. But my art did transform and did not just talking about emotions, but talking about my advocacies, these advocacies I got from Yano, from the people that have inspired me. Now I talk about the endangered animals, like the Palawan pangolin or the Philippine crocodile. I talk about the people who have inspired me to take up this path, this career for the world. And my art has also turned into action. Fund the Forest is a non-profit project that me and my friends started after our first visit to Yano, and it's fueled by storytelling. We tell the stories of the people like the Tamaraw Rangers, or the guardians of the marsh of Busan, and in turn, share these stories with people from Manila, the youth who have heard our stories, started to care, and in like 3 to 4 months have raised more than $250,000 pesos to help these communities. And what we do with the funds that we've garnered is go back to these communities of these people that own these stories and give them what they need. Like in Yano, we got them materials to reforest their lands. In Abusan, we gave them boots and coats and cooking materials. Because this is what can happen when we share our stories. We can all make a difference. But at the end of the day, what I really learned is that these solutions are accessible. The youth has made these solutions happen. So why aren't the people in power, the people who have the means to make a difference, why haven't they implemented these solutions? I mean, the people of Yano, the Tamaraw Rangers, the people of Agusan, they're not the only ones left to fend for themselves in times of trouble. Like Typhoon Yolanda. This wasn't a strange picture to see. after what happened, people smiling through floods, and the stories of our Filipino resiliency plastered on each headline instead of stories that tell us of why it happened to them. Have we relied on the story of the Filipino resiliency too much that it's made us lax around times of difficulty? I'm telling you, we deserve better than this. We deserve to be treated better than what we already have. We deserve better than an 11 billion peso budget cut to the disaster risk and management fund. We deserve better than the lax around the climate crisis that put our most vulnerable communities at risk. And we need a different story, because like I told you, these stories matter. We need to change the narrative of what the Filipino story is. A narrative that doesn't start off with our people having nothing. So if you see the stories of these changing mountains, of these people and places that rose up from nothing, I hope you dare ask why they had to be resilient in the first place. Because this isn't just a story, this is reality. A reality that needs a different narrative. Thank you.